The letter arrives. It feels like a golden ticket, a government job. It promises stability, a steady paycheck, and a sense of purpose. For many, this is the dream. It means you have made it. You can finally tell your parents that their sacrifices were not for nothing. You imagine a life without the constant worry of being laid off. You picture yourself serving the public, doing good, important work. This piece of paper is not just an offer of employment, it is a promise of a secure future, a life where you can breathe a little easier and plan for tomorrow without fear. The relief is immense, a heavy weight lifted from your shoulders, so you start the job with a heart full of hope. You learn the ropes, you meet your colleagues, and you settle into the daily rhythm. The work is meaningful. You help people navigate complex systems. You process applications for benefits they desperately need. You keep public records in order. You are a small but essential gear in the giant machine of public service. At first, the paycheck seems decent enough. It covers the rent and the bills, with a little left over. You feel proud. You are contributing to society and earning your keep in a respectable way. This is what you worked so hard for in school. But then, time starts to move. A year passes, then another. The price of bread goes up. The rent increases. The cost of taking the bus to work inches higher and higher. Your salary, however, stays mostly the same. The small annual raise, if it comes at all, is eaten up by inflation before it even hits your bank account. Suddenly the numbers don't add up like they used to. The budget gets tighter. You start making small cuts, then bigger ones. You stop buying coffee in the morning. You pack a simple lunch every single day. The dream of a secure future begins to feel a little shaky, a little less certain. The quiet disappointment sets in. It is not a loud, dramatic event, but a slow, creeping realization. You are working hard, harder than ever, yet you feel like you are running in place, or maybe even slipping backward. You see friends in the private sector getting promotions and significant raises, buying homes and taking vacations. You are still in the same small apartment, hoping your car doesn't break down. The stability you craved now feels like a trap. It is a steady job, yes, but it is a steady struggle. The golden ticket has lost some of its shine, and you start to wonder if the promise was ever real. The core of the problem is simple math. The wages for many government workers are not keeping pace with the cost of living. A city clerk or a social services coordinator might earn a salary that looked reasonable 10 years ago. But today, that same salary has to stretch across rents that have doubled and grocery bills that have skyrocketed. This is not a personal failure. It is a systemic one. Policies have failed to adjust wages to reflect the economic reality that people face. These are not luxury items we are talking about. This is the basic cost of surviving in the very communities these workers serve. On top of this financial strain comes the heavy weight of family expectations. In many cultures, a government job is a badge of honor. It brings respect to the entire family. Your parents can proudly tell their friends that their child has a secure, respectable position. They might not understand the details of your salary or your budget. They only see the title. This creates a silent pressure to maintain an appearance of success. You are expected to contribute to family events, to help relatives in need, and to live a life that reflects the prestige of your job. Admitting you are struggling feels like letting everyone down. Then there is the pressure from society itself. We want our public servants to be beyond reproach. We expect them to be pillars of the community. This translates into an unspoken demand that they look the part. You must dress well. You must live in a decent neighborhood. You must not show any signs of financial distress. This image is important for public trust, or so we are told, but it forces workers into a difficult performance. They must project an image of middle-class comfort, even when their bank account tells a story of constant anxiety. The gap between perception and reality becomes a heavy burden to carry alone. These forces combine to create a perfect storm of stress. A worker named Maria, for example, processes housing applications for low-income families all day. She sees their struggles up close. But after work, she goes home to her own apartment, worrying about a rent increase that could force her to move. Her parents, who were so proud of her job, ask why she hasn't bought a small house yet. She smiles and changes the subject, feeling the sharp sting of her reality. She is caught between a system that underpays her, a family that misunderstands her, and a society that demands a facade of success. These challenges are not an accident. They are the result of choices and priorities. When budgets get tight, public sector salaries are often the first thing to be frozen. It is an easy political decision. Public workers are seen not as individuals with families and bills, but as a line item on a spreadsheet. The narrative is that they have generous benefits and job security, so they should not complain. This completely ignores the daily reality that a pension you can't access for 30 years doesn't help you pay for your child's shoes today. The system is designed to value cost-cutting over people. Society plays a huge role in building this invisible wall. We tend to view public service through a strange lens. We praise the idea of it but devalue the people who do it. We call them bureaucrats and complain about their inefficiency, forgetting they're often working with outdated technology and overwhelming caseloads. We celebrate them as heroes during a crisis, but fall silent when it is time to negotiate their contracts. This creates a deep disconnect. Public workers are held to a high standard of service, but they are not given the resources or the compensation to match. Think about a public school teacher. We entrust them with our children's future. We expect them to be educators, counselors, and protectors. Yet we hear stories of teachers working second jobs just to make ends meet. They buy classroom supplies with their own money. We see this as a sign of their dedication, a noble sacrifice. But we should see it as a sign of a broken system. Why should dedication require a vow of poverty? Their hard work is praised, but their financial struggles are romanticized instead of being addressed as a serious policy failure. This is the core of the issue. A person's value is judged by the image they project, not the labor they perform. A government worker is expected to be a stable, respectable member of society. But the very system they work for makes achieving that stability nearly impossible. Their struggle is hidden behind their professional title and the neatness of their office. They are trapped by our expectations. We want the image of a well-functioning public service, but we are unwilling to pay the price for one. And the price is paid by the workers in silence. The struggles of government workers are not their private burden to bear. It is a reflection of our collective values. If we truly value public service, we must do more than offer empty praise. We need concrete policy changes. This means tying salaries directly to the cost of living, ensuring that wages are not eroded by inflation year after year. It means investing in our public institutions so that workers have the tools and support they need to do their jobs effectively. It means creating transparent pathways for career and wage growth so that stability does not mean stagnation. Beyond policy, we need a cultural shift. We must stop viewing public service jobs as a source of lifetime security that justifies low pay. The world has changed. That old promise is broken. We need to see public workers as skilled professionals who deserve fair compensation for their expertise and labor, just like anyone in the private sector. This begins with listening to their stories. It means challenging the stereotypes of the lazy bureaucrat. It requires us to see the person behind the desk, the individual who is also a neighbor, a parent, and a citizen trying to get by. The change must come from all of us. We must demand that our elected officials prioritize the people who keep our communities running. We must support unions and associations that fight for fair wages and better working conditions. And we must change the way we talk about these jobs. Instead of asking why someone hasn't bought a house, maybe we should ask what is preventing them from doing so. The conversation needs to shift from individual success to systemic fairness. It is time to dismantle the expectation that public servants must sacrifice their own well-being for the public good. So I will leave you with 2 questions to think about. First, have you ever felt the pressure to appear more financially successful than you actually are, just to meet the expectations of your family or society? And second, what is one concrete idea you have that could help public servants achieve real financial security, not just the appearance of it? The answers to these questions are the first step. They can help us move beyond simply unveiling the silent struggles and begin the real work of solving them together.